Hello, beautiful people. Welcome in. If this is your first time here, I'm Katie. I'm your 12th house guide. I am here just to deliver a message from the tarot. So if you like this video, you can like, share, subscribe. You can also find out all my socials below. Yeah, let's get into it. So there's a situation here that you manifested, or maybe you're transmuting the energy, but there's let's keep reading and we might be able to get into that better. There's a loss of balance here, so with the love connection. So there might be tension, discord. This card is normally about a soulmate connection in the upright, so yeah, there's some discord. Probably has to do with the love interest, any connection. There may also be some like possessive and greediness going on, kind of territorial behavior. This is the Four of Pentacles reversed. We also have the Knight of Cups here. So this is about balance, really, which is interesting because the Two of Cups was reversed. So perhaps there is a situation that's leaving your emotions feeling off balance, but this is like calm waters. Knights also deliver things. So this could be, there's a situation here that you manifested some kind of discord, or something is off balance with this relationship, and it excuse me, it has to do with this greedy, possessive behavior. But it's like there's a message coming in that you're moving to calmer waters, and that's because you're no longer seeing yourself as a victim and you're taking your power back. You are feeling a little nostalgic as you're dealing with this. And what's at the bottom of the deck that you can't see happening is the Three of Wands in reverse. So this normally talks about like moving on. Like the Two of Wands can be about making a decision, or not making a decision, but making plans. So the Three of Wands is like moving on once we've made those plans. But in the reverse, it would tell me not moving on. And with this Six of Cups, this like nostalgic energy, that tells me that it might be something like we're having issues letting go of something in the past. And it may have to do with emotions. Like cups are emotional. It's the water signs, sensitivity. And the wands are fire energy. So yeah, let's see what this I want to see what the Magician is about. The other cards make sense to me, but I'm wondering, how would you have manifested this kind of like discord? It's with the Magician card, Spirit. That's Luna back there. Her favorite spot. Okay. So sorry, I don't mean to have a bunch of reactions before I talk. The Magician's about someone who's stuck and unable to change their perspective, the Fool, because this situation is unfair. Justice reversed. And I think the unfairness is that you're not able to achieve this. So this is like a happy ending. 10 of Cups is like really, really beautiful card in the upright. This is like you're not getting that. And it's because you feel stuck, because the situation's unfair. So perhaps the manifesting part of this is that you asked for this to be healed. You asked to heal this like emotional imbalance, and you've asked to be moved to calmer waters, and the universe is listening to you, but it's almost as if there's some things you have to let go of and change. I'm sorry. Bottom of the deck is the Death in reverse, which is also like Death in the upright is transformation. So Death in the reverse is like, I'm not able to make a change. Also, AKA stuck. Death in the reverse and the Fool in the reverse is like, it's not the same meaning at all whatsoever, but it's like, it has that similar kind of energy of like, I can't change my perspective. I can't take this leap of faith. Yeah. So I was going to keep asking questions, and I pulled up and saw the Death at the bottom. So I would want, if this were me, to know, how do I change my perspective? How do I let go of the past and the nostalgia in order to get that upright 2 of Cups, upright 10 of Cups? Because we really, that's what we want. So Spirit, how do we change our perspective? How do we let go of the past? How do we move on to get those whoop, that one fell to the ground. Queen of Cups reverse. So I didn't know what cards falling to the ground meant, and I was doing some research on it yesterday, which the things that I read basically interpreted it to mean that it's coming very quickly, like it's at your feet, it's ready, like it's right there. So fast arrival, I guess, was sort of what I got from the interpretations. But if there's other interpretations or you have one, let me know, because I love learning from other people. So the advice here to let go of the past is reverse Queen of Cups energy. So again, with the emotions, there's a lot of water sign in here. There is like, you know, 1 sword card and 1 pentacle card, but majority of these cards are cups. The Queen of Cups is like, in the upright, she's calm, in control of her emotions, very in touch with the emotions, so like can use it. Oh, you just got a little itch. So this could be someone who's very in touch with their emotions, intuitive, sensitive, but not like overboard. Now, this energy in the reverse tells me there's maybe some like codependent behaviors, or like giving too much, caring too much. Excuse me. Because too much water energy can be like, I mean, when I think of like Pisces in the unevolved, it's like love addiction, maybe actual substance addiction. Cancer energy too much is, or I should say in the excess, Cancer energy can be dependent, needy, clingy. So this kind of energy is like, look out for that kind of like dependence, that need to escape or go into escapism, which is a very Pisces energy kind of a thing. Also isolate, Scorpio, very like, that can be there as well. So my interpretation of this would be to watch out for this type of behavior and to let go of this kind of behavior, because it's preventing you, these codependent beliefs or dependencies at all, whether it's beliefs about yourself that turn into excuse me, I'm gonna take a sip here, that turn into self-fulfilling prophecies, or we believe things about ourselves, and then when the opposite starts happening, we self-sabotage so that we can reaffirm what our role is, based on what we believe about ourselves from a very young age. So that can show up in like, because the ways in which we were taught to love and to see ourselves came from our caregivers in our childhood. So if we're having this excess water energy that has to do with emotions and our emotional world, a lot of that has to do with your subconscious, 12th house. This stuff just it's a reflection of myself as well. But this energy, like, of your emotional world is very much in your 12th house. It's the subconscious. It's where, you know, these beliefs that just like drive our behavior that we're not conscious of. That's where they live. And so oftentimes ways that people cope with these painful identities is with substances, but like in modern day and age, like we use dating apps and hookup culture and like social media addiction and technology addiction and like gambling, even on the phones, or gambling in person. Like there's so many like ways in our society that people can engage in addictive behavior, and it feeds this kind of compulsion that we have to self-soothe. So I think this reading is really about being asked to change your perspective to let go of that part of yourself, to realize that you have manifested this like imbalance, but this possessiveness that you have towards this identity. We've got to let it go so we can not just like get out of the victim mentality to be a survivor, but to get out of the identity at all of that, you know, our traumas or our insecurities are a part of our identity and that we can't change them. So I know something that I deal with in my own healing journey is rewriting the narrative and redefining those stories that we have about ourselves, and that like, I can't do this because of that. Like I don't like large crowds because I have CPTSD. And it's like, you know, or I don't like going to dinner parties because I don't like small talk. Like, tell me about your trauma. Tell me about your deepest soul experiences. Like, I would rather talk about that than what you do for work or the weather or your children. And that's not because I don't like kids. It's just like, I like deeper conversations. But I also have beliefs about myself being like the scapegoat in my family, and that I always need to mess up, and that like I don't get to succeed or have nice things. And a lot of those beliefs were set up in childhood. And I think a lot of people experience that with their siblings, of like, somebody's the golden child, somebody gets blamed for everything. And what I think where we run into this like pain is that we're not able to change those things. And it's like, you know, yes, I'm a brunette, but I could be a blonde in 6 hours, you know? Yes, I, you know, tend towards running and hiding instead of dealing with things, is like an avoidant pattern, because of narcissistic abuse that I endured. And it's like, I can practice not running and hiding. I can practice changing that narrative. And that's what, when, you know, people talk about neuroplasticity and rewiring those pathways in your brain, I'm not a medical expert. This is just my own experience with trauma healing. I'm just sharing about things that I've read. But with neuroplasticity, it's like you change that behavior. So how can you sort of interrupt those narratives, those beliefs that you have about yourself, that like you don't want to be that person, or, you know, it's all about like bringing the subconscious to the conscious. And if you don't know that you are engaging in codependent behaviors because you don't know what codependency is, and then one day suddenly you like get a definition or somebody talks about it, it's like that's bringing it from the dark to the light, from the subconscious to the conscious. And so that's the only way that we can change our behavior and change those narratives. So how can you interrupt that pattern when it's happening? There was definitely some like great advice cards here about what to do as far as trying to move forward into your happiness. So Spirit, any more advice here before we move on to the Oracle decks? Oh, got another jumper. Also, she came out sideways, another queen, interesting. Now, sideways cards, I read in doing some research that some people don't interpret them at all. They just, it comes out and whatever. This one also fell at my feet. So this may be an immediate energy that you're dealing with. Queen of Wands is fire energy. So when we're talking about like the Queen of Cups being too much water energy, this is like too much fire energy. Now, sideways to the right, wait, it's to the left. Sorry. Anyway, so sideways facing me, to the left. Most people will read that as left is down, right is up. Left would be reversed, right would be up. So I'm gonna read this as reversed. Watch out for being too pushy, too determined, too passionate, too angry. Fire energy is all about like trailblazing. It's got this like cardinal kind of, it's very like, think of an Aries, somebody who's passionate, determined, just like goes on with their drive and determination. Now, someone like this is going to be like angry, impulsive, reckless, emotional, needy, dependent. So the advice here is watch out for these two energies. Watch out for this Queen of Cups and Queen of Wands in reverse energy. It's very telling that the two advice cards that came out were both queens, both reversed. So you might have a lot of fire water energy. This could also just be the energy that you're working with. It seems that this is about an emotional situation that has to do with your emotional world. So angels of light, what's the advice here for the person watching? Oh, wow. So advice from the angels is that the situation is going to bring you freedom. Oh, I should probably cover that. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. Okay. So freedom, and then what you can't see on the bottom of the deck is the everything, everywhere, all at once is with you. Archangel Michael is the sort of, he helps everyone at all times, all the time. You can call on him. You can lay your heaviest burdens on him. So we're going to ask for advice card from the Moonology deck. That's also an oracle deck that focuses on astrological transits. So let's see if we get a fire and a water to come out. Sorry. Oh no, I apologized. You're very close to achieving your goal. I love that imagery. It reminds me of like Oregon forest. I just said, is it going to be a water sign? A full moon in Cancer, a personal issue reaches resolution. So, bottom of the deck for that is I'm sorry, this word has come up a few times for me in the last 24 hours. And this card came up earlier when I was doing my own reading. Surrender to the divine. Surrender is the word that keeps coming up for me. So, I don't know, the devil card didn't come out here. I wouldn't have been surprised if it did. That's usually a card about like toxic behaviors, addictive behaviors. And I don't know if anyone that's watching is like dealing with addictive, like addiction issues. But the energy of the deck and this like dependent behavior and this like clinging and holding on to a story from the past about who you were, you can let that go and you can be a completely different person. And when I'm like trying to visualize the energy of what this feels like, and it reminds me of this quote from Lady Gaga, and I'm gonna paraphrase, but I believe it was around the time that the Fame Monster came out, her second, or I think it was her second album. Sorry, Lady Gaga stan here. That's another video. It's about that your life is a painting and you are the artist, and it can be a blank canvas. And like, if you were raised to like, well, I'm gonna, you know, when I get out of college, I'm gonna get a business degree and then like take over my family business. But I don't want to do that. Like, I want to go like play music and travel around the country because that's what brings me joy, or whatever, you know, whatever story or narrative that you're coming up against, you do have the power to write a different story. And I definitely believe that we humans are not in control of a lot. And there's a lot of like fate and destined opportunities that come our way and cross our paths. And we do have free will to choose. So take this reading as an opportunity to change that narrative. And it's another choice that the universe is giving you to rewrite your story and like ask you that when you leave this lifetime, this incarnation in this body at this point in time, what does the painting look like that you're leaving behind? I hope you liked this reading. If you did, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz down below. Bye, y'all.